Aquarius workshop, Self-assertion. I start with a quote from Pathwork Lecture 107 with the title, 3 Aspects That Prevent Men from Loving. And the quote is as follows. It is much easier to assert your rights and wishes, whether they be right or wrong, selfish or unselfish, if you love. When you do not love, this self-assertion is very hard because your gnawing guilt either paralyzes you or, if you manage to voice your objections, they will come out in a very hurting way. You cannot really hurt another because you refuse, provided you love. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 107. There's confusing about the meaning of self-assertion. When is self-assertion appropriate? When is a flexible attitude appropriate? We confuse self-assertion with rebelling, but the more we rebel, the less we can assert ourselves. The common mind cannot find a balance between self-assertion and flexible adaptation, between spontaneous giving and healthy selfishness. The common sense is not intuitive enough to respond to situations in an appropriate way. Only the true self can respond creatively and spontaneously and connect with the deepest being of another person. The true self knows that loving and self-assertion are interdependent. The healthy yes current of the true self accepts life joyfully and strives for liberation, autonomy, unification, wholeness, harmony, perfection and fulfillment. If there is a healthy yes current, then there can also be a healthy no current that can assert itself in the right way and is able to set boundaries by saying, for example, I'm an individual and I have the right to be healthily aggressive. If someone wants something from me that I don't want, then I have the right to say no. By rejecting the healthy yes current and the healthy no current, they turn into an unhealthy yes current that says yes out of fear, submissiveness and self-betrayal, and an unhealthy no current that rebels against life and wants to remain emotionally dependent. Why are we unable to stand up for ourselves? We believe that it is sinful and selfish to stand up for ourselves. We prefer to give in and do not dare to say no because we do not feel free and self-confident. We are also afraid to let go of the ego control, which prevents us from self-assertion. Another reason is the real deep-rooted guilt of not loving, withdrawing, and with this proud and self-willed attitude, we violate the great cosmic forces. We feel like we don't deserve to be happy and stand up for ourselves. We can only stand up for ourselves if we put the truth first, if we are not afraid of pain or confrontation, if we are not too proud to make mistakes, if we are willing to give the best of ourselves. In this workshop you will explore with a loving curiosity 3 themes of the Pathwork Lectures regarding self-assertion. The first theme, understanding the duality between self-assertion and rebellion. Subconsciously, by remaining an emotionally dependent child, we hope to be happy and escape the struggles of life and the disadvantages of adulthood. However, we are blind to the ill effects of this extended childhood, unconsciously demanding to be cared for and loved. Very subtly, we expect God to live this life for us, make decisions and provide the desired results. We refuse to become a free adult human being. This desire causes chain reactions and is expressed in two different ways. Either we do not dare to stand up for ourselves or we rebel against authority. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 88. Whenever you see in a personality the predominant attitude of fear, timidity, non-assertion, appeasement, obedience, then rebellion must exist also. It may not be on the surface, but exist it must. There can be no doubt about it. It will be quite a battle to find this level of rebellion, bitterness, hostility, and aggressive tendencies. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 88. The second theme. Forcing current prevents self-assertion. The more we attach to a forcing current of exaggerated needs for approval and appreciation, the more we flee into a world of illusions. Reality, which does not correspond to our fantasies, must be disappointing because we demand immediate satisfaction of these false needs. This forcing current makes us consciously or unconsciously impatient and prevents us from self-assertion. We are resentful and hostile when others do not what we want, and the desired results do not materialize. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 157. The forcing current says, you must. It makes demands on others to be, feel, and do what a person needs and desires. This may not at all manifest outwardly. In fact, on the surface it may have the entirely opposite effect. Man's inability or difficulty to healthily assert himself is a direct result of hiding the shameful and threatening forcing current. It is threatening because the person knows quite well that if it shows openly, it will evoke great censure and disapproval and possibly even overt rejection. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 157. The third and last theme. Self-assertion by perceiving reality. When we are alienated from ourselves, we are unable to perceive reality and be objective. We are subjective and perceive ourselves distorted, causing us to live in unreality. One moment we feel inferior and we don't dare to stand up for ourselves, and the next moment we feel superior and rebel. We let our sense of self-worth depend on others. A compliment makes us very happy, and criticism causes depressive emotions. The last quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 95. When your experience of self, of others, and of life is not distorted, but in accord with reality, you will express all the benign forces of reason, love, understanding, insight, strength, resourcefulness, resiliency, flexibility, adaptability, self-assertion, creativity, etc., that your real self is endowed with. You will communicate with others, make yourself understood, express yourself adequately, because your real self is free. You will be in a position to discriminate, make choices and decisions, because your fear and anxiety are gone. In making a proper and mature choice, you can distinguish between that which is real, valid, constructive, and that which is not. End of quote on Pathwork Lecture 95. I wish you peace and all the best. Thank you.